Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. I am going to talk about how to evoke positive affect for effective learning. What is affect? It's used in psychology as a noun, and it describes the experience of a feeling or an emotion. It's an emotional state that's an integral part of our behavior, and it changes or influences what we think or do. Now, I'd like to give you some facts about English courses. We're all English teachers at universities, and we are all going through the same similar experiences, facing the same challenges. So certain things that we all know. Now, everybody has to take English until they're exempted. These courses are obligatory. Now, they don't get any credit. In other words, it's not in their grade point average, although there's a lot of work, especially in recent years with the CFR. We have oral presentations that have become a significant part of the course grade, which is a lot of work and writing. And they do all this work, but they don't get any credit in their grade point average. The hours may be very inconvenient, sometimes at 8 o'clock in the morning, sometimes at 6 o'clock in the evening when they're very, very tired. And many students are frustrated because they've missed the next level just by 1 point. They took a parallel course at another university and we don't accept it. And maybe they took the psychometric many years ago, and in the meantime they had a year in the States or something. And so they don't want to be there. And also the fact that they're studying, they have a lot of other courses, a family, and they come from far away. So the truth is, English is at the bottom of their priority list. So what can we do? We really have to do something about this. We're not like their 101 teachers, those introductory courses that they have to take, and they're very, very important for them. We have to be different. We have to make a difference. And what can we do to make them, want to learn English in our courses? So this is where positive affect comes into play. We need to inspire positive emotions in our students for effective learning. There are certain things that are really down-to-earth practices that we as teachers can do, and we create a positive environment that mysteriously fosters positive affect in our students. Now, whether or not we experience positive affect while doing something or thinking about something, it determines our attitude toward that thing and our willingness to engage in that behavior in the future. Now, I want to talk a little bit about research. There's a lot of research on the effects of positive emotions. Now, one of them is Barbara Fredrickson. She's an amazing psychologist. She's one of the most highly cited psychologists today. And she says that when people experience even mild positive emotions, their peripheral vision expands and their outlook to their environment changes. This is her well-known broaden and build theory of positive emotions. Now, she says people become more open. They see more possibilities. They become more aware. In addition, they become more creative when they experience even mild positive emotions. And they become more resilient and trusting. She says shared positivity builds trust. Now, and the result of all this is that their academic performance improves, and this is what we're interested in as teachers. Another researcher is Angela Duckworth, also a psychologist. Now, I compare learning a language to learning to play a musical instrument. Like when we, are learning to play a musical instrument, we practice more if we like the instrument, if we love it even, right? So learning a language is similar. So Angela Duckworth conducted experiments with thousands of very, very successful people. And she was interested in knowing what is the secret to achievement? What is the secret, right? How do people become such great achievers? Are they more talented, or do they have a higher IQ? And she came to the conclusion that a combination of passion and perseverance that she calls grit is the secret to achievement. In other words, if we love what we do and we work hard, we succeed. Now, let's talk about our language courses. The way I see it, okay, there are 4 important components in the courses that we teach. The core of our course is the course syllabus, which of course has to be pedagogically sound. And upon this course syllabus, we design our course site on Moodle, which also has to be friendly, user-friendly design. Okay, it should be easy for students to find the materials and so on. And then we, of course, have to upload our teaching materials, which have to be, again, engaging, relevant, interesting. And what holds together all this is the teacher. The teacher is like the skin around all of this, and without a good teacher, of course, this whole structure falls apart, right? It can't be successful even if the syllabus is wonderful, the course site is great, the materials are great. If the teacher is not doing the right things, then this is not going to work. Today, in my talk, I will only focus on the role of the teacher, the syllabus, the design of the course site, and the teaching materials require a totally different talk. Now, the teacher's role. Students develop this passion and perseverance that Duckworth is talking about, mainly thanks to the teacher. We learn best from people we love and respect. When teachers love what they do and work hard, they inspire their students to work hard. For example, I do yoga once a week, which is not much, but at least it's better than nothing. I love my yoga teacher, and I persevere because I love her and I know she cares about me. So this is the way I see our role, to be caring. We can help our students create positive associations with their English class already in the first lesson. And I'm going to emphasize the importance of the first lesson. Do you do any of this in the first lesson? Teach parts of speech, sentence structure, verb tenses, read an entire PowerPoint about academic skills, read the complete course syllabus, explain every detail, emphasize all the requirements, warn them if they do this and if they don't do this or that, what will happen, and so on. The students are not capable of digesting this kind of information in the first lesson. I don't want to lose them. I really want to earn them already at the beginning. So what do I suggest? Start off on the right foot, which means don't do grammar in the first lesson, don't overload the students with information about the course, and don't bore the students lecturing, reading entire PowerPoints, etc. Just start teaching and let the students get to know you and begin to trust you. So we can present the course syllabus in the second lesson, emphasize the course requirements, the breakdown, and other necessary information. So what should we do in the first lesson? The first lesson has got to be a positive learning experience. So Barbara Fredrickson says, smiles draw attention more than any other facial expression. They don't only express positivity, but they inspire positive emotions, okay, as well. So smile. I teach certain essential and immediately relevant skills to show that I mean business. That's how I start my first lesson, and I'm going to show you in a minute. Of course, we should teach with enthusiasm. Students see that we sincerely care about their success and that it's worth their while to attend classes. I tell my students that attendance is obligatory. I tell them that if you attend classes, if you listen, you participate, and you do the required tasks, you will pass this course with a very good grade. And I have my students write about themselves in the first lesson, and I start learning their names. I really make an effort to learn all the students' names by the third lesson of the semester. So even if I have 30 students, I really try to learn their names. The lesson has to be an interactive lecture. So as much as possible, I try to elicit what I want to teach from the class. For example, in the first lesson, I'm teaching them the topic, the main claim, and the purpose, okay? I don't do this based on an article, and I don't write these words on the board, and I don't even utter these words. Everything comes from my students. I start asking questions. What do you want to know when you look at a text? What are you interested in knowing? And then they start throwing words like main idea, subject, things like that. And I write these on the board. Little by little, I write everything they say on the board, and then we start organizing the things that they said. So even if only 2 or 3 students cooperate, respond at the very beginning, there's already interaction between the teacher and the students. And the ones who are shy, they really admire the ones who are responding. And everything starts to take shape little by little. My role is to constantly encourage the class. For example, I say, okay, you said subject. What's another word in English for subject? Which word do we use in academic English? So I write T on the board. If they still don't know, what the word is, I write O, and they say topic. Okay, so I write the word on the board. When all the information is on the board, I give them 2 separate paragraphs to find the topic, the main claim, and the purpose, and to formulate those. And then we do an exercise on Moodle. There's a very nice topic, main claim, purpose exercise on Moodle. And I ask one of the students to come and sit at the computer, and I'm already walking around, standing beside the students, and each students take turn in reading a question and giving an answer, and if everybody agrees, the student at the computer marks the correct answer. We can't make a first impression twice. Students come out of this first lesson with a sense of achievement, feeling they have learned something useful. My actions communicate to my students that I'm not going to waste their time, and I'm going to do my best not to bore them. Even strong students see that I have something to share with them, to teach them. They see that I love what I do and that I care about them. And these sincere efforts to explain the importance, the relevance of what I'm teaching are the foundations of the relationship of trust and respect between us and our students. Now, trust and respect have ripple effects. Barbara Fredrickson says, small changes have big ripple effects. Students develop resilience. They make an effort to do their homework. They work on difficult articles without complaining, and they do the assignments more willingly and more creatively. I can tell you in the fall semester last year, I had a B1 class at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I did several very difficult articles with them, and they did not complain. They knew that it was for their own good, and I did not give them a test on these articles. I said, this is in preparation for the midterm, or this is in preparation for the final exam. If you manage to cope with this article, the final exam will be easy for you. And it worked wonderfully. And students become more open when there's trust and respect. They value the teacher's feedback. They feel free to voice their views, their criticisms more openly and frankly. And this was the case in that class. Now, there's evidence from another field. 2 former American Navy SEALs wrote a book about leadership. And these people know something about leadership. They've fought in Iraq, for instance, and they've been through very difficult situations. And they say that when all other variables are controlled, the team leader is the sole factor that determines success or failure. In other words, when we as teachers, the leaders, we slacken, it affects our students negatively. And when we love and believe in what we do, we inspire and motivate our students. Now, there are little things that we can do, and I'm almost done. So when possible, have a student sit at the computer and control the screen. For example, when we're going over an exam and the answers, I want the students to see the correct answers on the screen marked on the article itself. So one student sits there and highlights the correct answers for all the students while I'm walking around. So this is something really the students enjoy. I share with them my own challenges and my own joys of learning a new language. I'm currently learning Russian and I'm really excited about it. And I understand the difficulties that they're going through. And I tell them, you know, this is more difficult in Russian. You're lucky that this is only, you know, you're learning English, etc. And when I give my students a major assignment, for example, the oral presentation task, I did not give them any homework for 2 weeks. I wanted them to work on it, and I didn't, you know, I really think we should be considerate when it comes to homework. And it was the first semester, and there were some kids who were loners. They were sitting, you know, alone, and I saw that they didn't know anybody in the class. So I opened a special forum for students to find teammates for the oral presentations, and it helped. They really posted questions, and teams were formed this way. One team was an Israeli-born musician, a Russian immigrant, a boy, and a Filipino girl. You know, this was a group who presented on a topic, and they did brilliantly. So the students that we teach come from different backgrounds, different cultures. They speak different languages at home. They have different learning styles. Some of them are young before the army service. Some of them have been to the army and maybe have families. So this acronym is something I came up with this acronym preparing this talk, and I think it's easy to remember. What do our students need from us? They need our kindness, they need our empathy, our enthusiasm, and our professionalism. So I believe that this summarizes my commitment to our profession. And also, we should cultivate our own positive affect. So if we can take a walk in the neighborhood, or if there's a park around where you live. I'm lucky to be living not far from the coast, the Yafo coast. So if I'm not teaching at 8 o'clock in the morning, and if I'm disciplined enough that morning, I take an hour, a brisk walk in the mornings, which is wonderful. Another young positive psychologist, she's also a brilliant scholar, Jennifer Stellar. She says we should be inspired. And she recommends experiencing awe in our lives. In other words, a walk in nature, a visit to the museum can inspire awe. Music, an inspiring TED Talk. And by the way, in B1, in our positive psychology unit, we have an article by Jennifer Stellar with her TED Talk that go together. We have an article by Barbara Fredrickson and her talks, which really, I think, add a lot to our course. So the conclusion: we can inspire positive affect first and foremost by putting our heart into our work. When we love what we do and we care about our students, they will reciprocate. And don't be disheartened by an unsuccessful lesson or an unhappy student. They're a part of the ups and downs of life. Always come to class with renewed hope, believing that this will be an excellent lesson. A compassionate teacher who uses engaging and relevant materials that the student likes and comes to class well prepared will earn the student's trust and thus teach in an atmosphere conducive to learning. So these are the references that I used, and I thank you very, very much.